I'm only a couple of days out from what I am going to say is a much needed vacation. Which is funny because I have a pretty good life, and most people need a vacation to get away from things they don't like. Work, friends, family. Does that sound right? In my case, I don't have anything to get away from. I'm actually pretty happy. Or if not happy, I'm not unhappy, and that's a thing. But I definitely feel for people who are unhappy with their lot in life, and they desperately cling to this idea of taking a vacation to, quote unquote, get away from it all. I'm not big into flying, not all that interested in boats. Trains are cool, but if you're gonna take a train ride, you could just as easily take a car ride and see most of the same parts of the country, with the exception that you can actually stop anywhere you want, and anywhere I want means coffee. Coffee is a big deal to me. I enjoy it quite a bit, but a vlogger who likes coffee is not exactly unusual. I actually think it might be a prerequisite for vlogging, but that's a conversation for another day. I tend to do a lot of staycations, meaning that I'll take vacation time but stay in my city because I like being in my city, and I think there are so many different things that don't get explored on the day-to-day that using my vacation time to stay in the city as a staycation, but going to all the sites and seeing all the things that are out there available to not just the people that live here, but to the tourists, and treating my own city as if I'm a tourist, has led to some of the best adventures I've ever had. I'm at what used to be the Royal Alberta Museum, and it used to be one of my favorite places to come. When I was working full-time and I would get vacation, I would always plan a trip to this museum during my vacation time. I guess not much has changed. I'm on vacation and I still came to this museum. That's kind of funny. Old habits die hard, I suppose. But this building is closed down now, and I don't know what they're going to do with it. It's a pretty fascinating building. This place gave me so many happy memories growing up and as an adult that even though it's closed down, nostalgia kicks in just being on the property. And a lot of those feelings, even though they're not detailed or anything that I can express very specifically, the great thing is there's that general sense that this was a good place. I liked being here. And the balance emotionally is positive. They opened a new museum, and to be honest, it doesn't have any character really to speak of the way that this one did. There's just something very old school and academic about this particular building, the architecture of it, and the way that it's laid out. The new one looks like it was designed for Instagram. Not that I have a problem with Instagram, but I have a problem with designing things so that they look good on Instagram. That just seems like you're missing the point. I mean, can you see that? This place had a carriage house. It had a carriage house. The new museum does not have a carriage house. God. Even if I'm not particularly fond of the new museum that we have here in my city, I am pretty happy that we have a new museum. I mean, it could have been worse. They could have just closed down this museum and not opened one at all. I think I would have moved. I don't want to live in a city like that. As often as you can, get out and be a tourist in your own city. If there's nothing in your city that you can identify as being worth visiting as a tourist, you should definitely move to a different city. You're in the wrong place. I'm not sure how much of that building you can see behind me, but it's old. It was built in 1913, and it sits adjacent to the old museum. They didn't build one of those at the new museum either.